So it's only one set of gain. So basically, I get to the sound check, and I essentially will put the meters in. Let's see. Do me a favor, Jonathan. Hit play real quick. Okay, I'll just show you for illustration. Let's just say the band is on stage and they're playing. The other thing that's great about the Studio Live is these LEDs are also used not only for the fat channel, but they're used for meters. So if I hit input, these are my input meters, right? So if I'm not clipping here, that means I cannot clip on the recording. Then you have output mode, which output basically will be post fader. See? So now they're affected. Now that's affected by the faders. Then you have gain reduction, which shows any compressors or gates. You can see something's being compressed on channel 1, and you'll see all. See, look, here's some compression happening down here, right? So, and then you also have the ability to look at your aux sends, the outputs of your aux sends. So it's all right here, basically at the flip of a channel. You can go through your different modes. So once I set my input gain, I'm ready to record. And the way that it works with the Studio Live is essentially you start off in this mode, right? And once I get, what this means is when this button is not pressed in, it's taking the analog signal, and the analog signal is coming in through the mic preamp. You've got individual 48-volt phantom powers for every channel. And the signal comes in, and then you hit the fat channel, and then it goes through the routing just like I showed you, okay? But what the cool thing is that it's always going to the computer. You don't have a separate send level going to the computer that you have to manage, right? And when I'm ready, I literally have to hit 2 buttons. So this little button up here, arm all tracks. Oops. Sorry, dude. I'm about to kill somebody. I hit the arm all tracks button, and I hit record. And now we're recording the show. Now what's cool is anything I do with the faders doesn't affect the recording, okay? Because it's basically taking the signal either straight off the mic pre or straight off the mic pre and the fat channel when the post EQ and dynamics button is pressed in, and it's going to here, but it's not going to affect anything I do at the front of house on the faders is not going to affect the recording, and vice versa. So that's a really cool feature because it makes it quick and easy. Now, after we finish the gig, basically, I can hit play on capture, and I can basically put these firewire returns on, and now I can pull up the show right here. And basically, these signals come in exactly like an analog signal. So, I mean, I can, basically solo a channel. Okay, so now what we can do from this point is we can do one of 2 things. We can take this, session, and we can basically export it out to whatever your favorite DAW is, and you can remix it. But you can also do something really cool, and that is now, the signals, as you can see, they're coming back through the console, right? So I can actually get a mix together on the Studio Live, EQ, compress, everything, add effects, and then go over to this bottom track. If you look on the very bottom, there's an additional stereo track. So now what it's doing is taking the stereo output from the mixer. Now I can hit record, and now it is actually recording straight down there. So that's a really, really unique feature, because guess what? If I'm a live guy at a church and I've never used, Pro Tools or Logic or anything like that, I don't have to learn. I don't have to wade through menus. I don't have to look through, deal with MIDI and plugins and all that stuff if I just want a quick 2 mix. Now the great thing about that stereo file as well is I can actually now just take it at the end of the night, do a quick pass. You can actually do that while you're recording too. You don't have to do it after the fact. So if I want to record my 16 individual channels and a stereo mix that I want to just throw on an iPod at the end of the night and listen to it on my way home, you can do that with the Studio Live as well. Okay, so let's go through real quick, and I'm going to show you some of the the mixing features. Turn this up just a little bit, dude, like one or two notches. Okay. Okay, so let's just go through and let me show you how the EQ and stuff works. Let's just get a quick mix going. So let's start with the kick drum. So I'll solo the kick. Okay, so we've got some stuff happening right now, but let me just load in a preset and let's just listen to the preset. Okay, so
those gates, did you gate that while you were doing it, or is that just is that the gate you had? It gates automatically into there?
That's not gated.
It's not gated?
No, see, hear the snare?
Yeah, I hear it a little bit, yeah.
Okay, now let's gate it. Let's gate it. Well, that's because it was, yeah, it actually didn't get a lot of bleed over, yeah. But watch this. Okay, so let's load in on channel 1 a kick drum sound. So I'm just going to pick the very first kick drum sound, and which is called kick 1. Okay, so this is actually okay, now, hit stop for a second. That is actually the downward expander mode. Now, let me switch to the gate mode, and you're going to watch. It's actually going to work a lot better than that. So I'll go to the system menu. I'll go down to, and you can see, you can't see, but basically it allows you to switch from a downward expander to a gate in pairs. So channels 1 and 2, you can pick gate or expander. Channels 3 and 4, gate or expander. So all my drums are on channels 1 through 6. So I'm going to just, and actually I don't need to gate the overhead, so I'll just turn channels 1 through 4 into gate mode. So I'll just go over here, change it to gate, go to the next one, change it to gate, and then everything else is going to be downward expander. Now, hit play. Okay, so now it's gating like a mother. And we can go back in and select it and kind of, oh, loop back? Go ahead and set a little loop for me there, dude.
Yeah.
There you go. Cool. So it's kind of a tighter sound. Okay, so let's go to the snare drum. Now let's do a little EQ. Now that's the preset EQ that comes with it, but let's say if we want a little bit more tick on the top, you can just go over here. Or less, you can just kind of tailor it. Let's find a little 400 hertz and notch it out. There we go. Sounds like a kick drum. Okay, and then we can go to the snare. Okay, let's try one of the presets. So I'll just hit load, go over to kick snare 1. That's pretty compressed. Now look at this. You always see gain reduction right here at the top. So you can see it's smacking the compressor pretty hard. If I don't want it compressed as much, I can go through and just take this down. See? Now it's just giving me a little bit of compression. And of course, same thing with the gate. We can it's a really nice sounding gate. That's without the gate. Okay. Okay, let's go to the toms. Now, my toms are in stereo, so I want to link them because what I did was this session originally was like 35 or 36 tracks, so I just did some stems down. So all my toms are un-EQ'd, uncompressed, just a stereo stem. So what I'll do is I'll go over here and hit select channel 3, hit link. It now links my toms together, and I can pull them up. And you hear a bunch of bleed over happening. So we'll go ahead and get a setting for the toms. So we'll hit load. Okay, and we can actually make this, let's see where he's going to hit some toms. Oh, I have it too tight. Okay, go ahead. Okay, there's some toms. Okay, that's good. Okay, so there's some toms, and you can. Now, actually, on this, we might even try the downward expander because these are bleeding over quite a bit more.